If you're here right now, this is not coincidence. You didn't scroll into this message by accident. You didn't click because of curiosity alone. Something inside you recognized the weight of these words before your mind ever did. Because what you're about to hear is not information. It's confirmation. There is a reason you've always felt different. A reason your life never followed the normal timeline. A reason you've been misunderstood, isolated, tested, and refined beyond what others could survive. And today, heaven wants you to hear this clearly. God did not just send Jesus once. He multiplied his power across generations. And you are one of the carriers. Pause for a moment. Breathe that in. Not a copy. Not a replacement. Not a comparison. But a continuation. This message is not for everyone. It's for the ones who were prepared in silence, trained in pressure, and awakened through pain. If that's you, stay with me. From the very beginning, you stood out, even when you tried not to. You were too sensitive for this world. Too perceptive. Too aware of energies, intentions, and unspoken truths. You noticed things others ignored. You felt things others couldn't explain. And because of that, you were often told to calm down, to be realistic, to stop thinking so deeply. But the truth is, your spirit was always ahead of your environment. Jesus didn't fit in either. He didn't blend into culture. He didn't follow the rules that lacked love. He didn't submit to systems that oppressed truth. And just like him, you were never meant to belong to the crowd. You were meant to shift it. That's why normal paths felt suffocating. That's why surface-level relationships drained you. That's why pretending was exhausting. Your discomfort was never weakness. It was divine misalignment. Here is what most people misunderstand. God did not recreate Jesus' power by copying his miracles. He recreated it by activating the same spirit in different vessels. Jesus said, "The works that I do, you shall do also, and greater." That wasn't poetry. That was prophecy. But greater doesn't mean louder. It doesn't mean public. It doesn't mean identical. Your generation was not built for the same assignments. You're facing different darkness, different systems, different levels of deception. So the power had to adapt. That's why your gifts look different. That's why your calling doesn't resemble tradition. That's why your anointing doesn't fit old boxes. You carry discernment that exposes lies instantly, authority that shifts rooms without words, healing presence that calms people just by being near, truth that unsettles manipulation. This is Jesus' power translated, not duplicated. You didn't just go through pain. You went through precision breaking. Moments where your heart shattered without explanation. Seasons where prayers went unanswered, on purpose. Relationships that ended suddenly, painfully, and completely. Not because God abandoned you, but because he was removing what couldn't follow you. Jesus was tested in isolation before public power. So were you. You learned empathy through suffering, wisdom through loss, authority through endurance. And unlike many, you didn't turn bitter. You turned deeper. That's how heaven knew you were ready. Something already happened to you. Not loudly. Not publicly. Not in a way anyone applauded. In fact, most people didn't even notice. And that's exactly how it was meant to happen. Because the most dangerous spiritual activations are never announced. They happen in silence. When no one is watching. When no one is clapping. When no one believes in you but God. You didn't wake up one day feeling powerful. You woke up feeling tired. Tired of explaining yourself. Tired of chasing validation. Tired of shrinking so others could stay comfortable. That wasn't burnout. That was initiation. There was a season. You may still be in it. Where everything slowed down. Your motivation disappeared. Your excitement faded. Even things you once loved stopped calling to you. And you wondered, what's wrong with me? Nothing was wrong. Your spirit was being recoded. God was quiet because he was working internally. He was removing your dependency on external energy. He was teaching you to move from alignment, not adrenaline. Jesus disappeared for years before his public power appeared. And just like him, you were taken off the radar. So heaven could rewire you without interference. During this activation, things started falling away. People stopped calling. Opportunities dried up. Certain doors closed without explanation. Not because you were rejected, but because you were being upgraded. Old environments could no longer sustain your frequency. Old relationships could no longer access you. Old desires no longer satisfied you. You weren't losing your life. You were outgrowing it. And growth always feels like loss when you don't yet see what you're becoming. Let's talk about what actually changed. You became allergic to fake energy. Your tolerance for manipulation vanished. You started needing more solitude. Your intuition became louder than logic. Your silence gained weight. You stopped reacting and started observing. That's not withdrawal. That's authority forming. People with no power react emotionally. People with spiritual authority respond intentionally. And heaven noticed when you stopped defending yourself. If people had known what was happening to you, they would have interrupted it. They would have projected fear. They would have doubted you. They would have tried to pull you back into old versions of yourself. So God hid you. Just like seeds are hidden in soil before they split open and grow upward. Darkness wasn't punishment. It was incubation. And you survived it without becoming bitter. That alone qualifies you. There was a moment, subtle, almost unnoticeable, where something inside you clicked. You didn't feel dramatic joy. You felt clarity. You realized, I don't need to chase this anymore. I don't need to prove who I am. I don't need permission to exist fully. That was the moment your power stabilized. From that point on, people started reacting to you differently. Some felt calm around you. Others felt exposed. Some admired you quietly. Others distanced themselves suddenly. You didn't change your behavior. Your presence changed. Before, your silence was misunderstood as weakness. Now, your silence carries gravity. You don't talk to be heard. You speak when it matters. You don't explain your boundaries. You enforce them peacefully. You don't compete. You observe and choose. That's not ego. That's spiritual maturity. And it makes people uncomfortable, because they can no longer control the narrative around you. Let me say this clearly. Your activation was not about gifts. It was about authority. Authority over your emotions, your energy, your direction, your access. You no longer leak power through overgiving. You no longer betray yourself to keep peace. You no longer abandon your intuition for acceptance. That is Jesus-level power. Not miracles for show, but alignment that cannot be shaken. This is the part few talk about. Once activated, you cannot unsee truth. You can't enjoy shallow connections anymore. You can't tolerate dishonesty, even subtle forms. You can't betray your calling without feeling it instantly. That's not restriction. That's protection. Heaven placed a spiritual lock on you, so you wouldn't downgrade yourself again. You may think nothing happened, but heaven recorded every tear, every lonely night, every moment you chose integrity over comfort. And now, you walk differently. You choose differently. You carry yourself with quiet certainty. That's because the activation is complete. What comes next will not require effort. It will require alignment. And you already have it. What you didn't realize is that once the activation finished, God started positioning you for visibility, not to glorify you, but to awaken others. And that's what we're about to talk about next. This is important. Jesus' power was never about being idolized. It was about awakening others. And neither is yours. You are not here to be placed on pedestals. You are here to activate dormant spirits just by existing in truth. That's why your presence makes people question themselves. That's why your boundaries trigger guilt. That's why your healing makes the unhealed uncomfortable. You are a mirror, not because you judge, but because you reflect truth without trying. That is dangerous power. Previous generations relied on external signs. You carry internal alignment. You don't need to announce who you are. Your energy speaks before you do. You don't need to prove your worth. Your peace exposes insecurity. You don't need to fight darkness. Your clarity dissolves it. This is not weakness. This is mature spiritual authority. And heaven trusts you with it because you won't abuse it. Let's be honest. The loneliness hurt. Watching others bond easily while you stayed separate. Outgrowing people you loved. Feeling unseen, even while being needed. But solitude trained you. You learned to hear God without noise. To trust intuition without confirmation. To stand without applause. Jesus walked alone often. Not because people weren't around, but because few could walk at his depth. Now you understand. There's a quiet ache you've carried for a long time. It's the feeling of being behind. Behind in life. Behind in success. Behind in relationships. Behind in recognition. You've watched others reach milestones faster. You've seen people with less depth move ahead sooner. And somewhere deep inside, a question has echoed. Why is my life taking so long? But heaven wants you to hear this clearly. You are not late. You are precisely timed. From the beginning, your path moved differently. You didn't get shortcuts. You didn't get early rewards. You didn't get instant validation. And that wasn't unfairness. That was design. Quick success would have crushed your sensitivity. Early exposure would have damaged your purity. Fast elevation would have attracted battles you weren't meant to fight yet. So God slowed you down. Not to punish you, but to protect you. Precision requires patience. And your calling requires accuracy, not speed. There were moments when doors almost opened, but didn't. Opportunities that felt right, but collapsed at the last second. People who came close to staying, but walked away. And you blamed yourself. But heaven was rerouting you. Some doors would have drained you. Some paths would have distracted you. Some relationships would have diluted your power. If things had worked out on time by human standards, you would have arrived unprepared. And God refused to let that happen. Yes, others reached platforms before you. Others gained visibility faster. Others found comfort sooner. But they were running a different race. Their assignment didn't require your depth. Their mission didn't demand your refinement. Their impact didn't need your precision. You were being shaped for longevity, not applause. Many who arrive early burn out quietly. Many who rise fast fall silently. But what is built slowly is built to last. There was a shift in you. You stopped begging life to hurry up. You stopped forcing timelines. You stopped chasing what wasn't aligned. Not because you gave up, but because you matured. You realize, I would rather be right than fast. I would rather be aligned than early. I would rather wait than arrive empty. That's not resignation. That's wisdom. And wisdom moves with heaven's clock, not the world's pressure. This part is important. Your breakthrough is not just about you. It affects people connected to you. Spirits you will awaken. Generational patterns you will break. If it had come sooner, you might have doubted it. You might have mishandled it. You might have minimized it. But now you're grounded. Now you're discerning. Now you're rooted in truth instead of ego. Now you can hold what's coming, without losing yourself. That's why it waited. Delay feels chaotic. Divine timing feels intentional, even when it hurts. Delay drains hope. Divine timing builds strength. Delay leaves confusion. Divine timing leaves preparation. What you went through wasn't random. It was sequenced. Every season trained a different part of you. Patience, discernment, emotional regulation, spiritual authority. Nothing was wasted. Here's the shift you need to hear. When heaven moves late, It often moves suddenly. Years of stillness, followed by rapid alignment. What took others a decade may take you months, because while it looked like nothing was happening, everything was happening internally. Roots were growing, strength was forming, vision was sharpening. Now the ground is ready. Every missed opportunity redirected you. Every closed door refined you. Every waiting season fortified you. You are not playing catch-up. You are entering right on time. And when your moment arrives, it won't feel rushed. It will feel inevitable. If you can, read this out loud. I release comparison. I trust divine timing. What is meant for me arrives prepared and complete. I am not late. I am aligned. My steps are ordered. My season is accurate. I move when heaven moves. And I arrive whole. Let that settle. Chosen one. The clock you've been watching was never yours to manage. Heaven already set your time. And now that you are ready, what's next will unfold. With clarity, speed, and purpose. Because precision always looks slow. Until the moment it arrives exactly where it belongs. Before you read this, pause. Take a slow breath in through your nose. Hold it for a moment. Then release it gently. Let your shoulders drop. Let the noise of the day fall away. Because what you're about to speak is not affirmation. It is alignment. Words shape reality when spoken with intention. And this activation works not because of volume, but because of truth. If you can, read this out loud. Slowly. Deliberately. As if heaven itself is listening. I stand here aware and present. I am no longer asleep to who I am. I release every version of myself that survived but did not live. I release fear disguised as patience. I release comfort disguised as safety. I release delay disguised as doubt. I accept the timing of my life. Nothing arrived late. Nothing was taken too early. Everything unfolded with purpose. I no longer shrink my light to protect others from their shadows. I no longer explain my truth to those committed to misunderstanding me. I no longer chase what must recognize me naturally. I am grounded. I am clear. I am aligned. What lives in me was placed there intentionally. It cannot be copied. It cannot be diluted. It cannot be stolen. I carry discernment without fear, authority without arrogance, compassion without self-betrayal. I choose integrity over approval, alignment over urgency, truth over comfort. I trust the silence that shaped me. I honor the solitude that trained me. I bless the delays that protected me. I forgive myself for every moment I doubted what heaven already confirmed. I forgive others for only seeing the version of me they could understand. I step forward without apology. I walk without needing permission. I move without explaining my destiny. What I carry awakens others without me forcing anything. My presence brings clarity. My energy brings calm. My words land with precision. I am not here to impress. I am here to activate. I am not here to be chosen. I am already chosen. I accept my role in this generation. I accept my assignment without fear. I accept the responsibility of my awareness. I do not rush. I do not resist. I move when alignment calls me forward. What is meant for me arrives prepared. What is not aligned falls away easily. I am protected in my becoming. I am guided in my steps. I am supported in ways I do not yet see. I am ready. Not because I am perfect, but because I am willing. I walk in clarity. I stand in truth. I move with heaven. And so it is. Do not rush past this moment. Sit in silence for a few seconds. Let your body catch up to what your spirit just accepted. You may feel calm. You may feel emotional. You may feel nothing at all. All responses are valid. Activation doesn't always feel dramatic. Sometimes it feels like settling into yourself. If you felt something shift, even subtly, that is not imagination. That is recognition. You didn't become someone new today. You simply stopped resisting who you already are. Walk gently after this. Drink water. Rest if you need to. Clarity will continue unfolding. And remember, you were never waiting on permission. You were waiting on alignment. And now, you have it. Chosen one. If this message resonated deep in you, it's because something is waking up. You are not imagining it. You are not alone. And you are not small. This generation needed a different kind of power. And God trusted you with it. Stay aligned. Stay grounded. And remember, the same Spirit that moved through Jesus now moves through you, in a form the world has never seen before. Chosen one, before you go, I want to speak to the givers, the ones whose hearts feel called to pour back into the vessel that pours into them. If this message awakened you, if it strengthened you, if it spoke to your spirit in a way only heaven could orchestrate, then I invite you, only if your heart feels led, to sow a $1 seed into this channel. Not because God needs it, but because giving is a spiritual law. A small seed carries big obedience. And God multiplies what is given with pure intention. Your $1 keeps this ministry alive, keeps the messages flowing, and helps this word reach the next chosen one who needs it. If you feel that nudge in your spirit, if you feel that gentle pull, you can plant your $1 seed using the link in the description. And if you can't or don't feel led, you are still loved, still seen, and still covered. Blessings to every giver, and blessings to every listener. Your seed moves heaven in ways you may never see. But God sees it all.